Hey everyone, today we have another Black Series review, this time with SM-33 from Skeleton Crew. And Yakface has another figure listed in this lineup that is unnamed at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is Captain Silvo. If you know, you know. Looking at the back here, we have the character description as well as some artwork here showcasing that little rat coming out of his eye as well as that shield on his wrist. I did really enjoy Skeleton Crew as it aired, but it's just so interesting how like fast things come and go these days that, you know, we have a whole Star Wars show that was just a few months old and it already feels like old news. Like, I don't know, it's not something I see myself going back to rewatch later on the way that I rewatched the first few seasons of The Mandalorian over and over again while we waited for season 3. Please be careful not to lose this little rat here. He is so tiny. This is like one of the smallest accessories we've ever seen in the Black Series. I'm going to keep him in the package for now. So on first impression here, he might look a little weird. And when this figure was first revealed, everyone was kind of confused as to why his proportions were so off. And it's because he actually changes shape a lot throughout the series, and it wasn't something that I necessarily picked up on as I was watching the show. Just above the elbow there are two little retractable points, and then the forearms go in and out this much, which is good if you would like to display his hands retracted. And then the peg leg here as well as the ankle on the right leg also extract. And then you can also compress and decompress him at the waist here. So this is really clever engineering. Great job by Hasbro to kind of nail this down. I wouldn't have expected this, but it's a cool bonus. I really don't think anyone was expecting that. And I guess there is a scene where he like kind of stretches himself out to be a little bit taller, but I kind of forgot about that by the end of the series and wasn't really thinking of that as something that the character did. And before we zoom in and look at the details up close, of which this figure has many, it really feels like a deluxe figure. I just wanted to show you that he does stand pretty well without the stand. He does include a peg stand, which is pretty interesting. I can't remember if we've ever seen one of those in the Black Series, but just kind of showing you my fails and successes here and trying to get him to stand so you get the idea. But even with the stand, I feel like as long as that right ankle is tight, in which case it is, the stand doesn't really make that big of a difference. If it fit onto the peg, like that might make more sense, but you know, I found just as much success honestly without it than with, and when you do put the stand on, it makes him a little bit taller on that leg, so you have to compress that right leg slightly. But I mean, pardon my fumbling here with the figure, but I was just trying to play around and see what works and what doesn't. But I would probably be displaying him without it. This is probably how I would stand him. I have him leaning forward a little bit at the hips and then arching up as much as he can with his head up to kind of cover that. Although I think maybe with the arms in, it might match a little bit better. I might have to go back and watch some clips from the show and just see exactly which pose I think is best. But he did feel nice and sturdy in this position. I wanted to give you a nice close-up here on all of the paint details. He does look a little bit lighter than I remember him in the show, but looking at the character models and like some promotional artwork and releases, it looks like he actually was the silver. It just was something that because of the lighting and the color grading, he just seemed a little bit darker. But pretty cool that you can remove the head here and it will stay attached with those wires on the back. That feels sturdy but nice and flexible. And I've managed to not lose the little rat yet. It does have some detail on it, but honestly just kind of looks like a turd. But it does fit into the eyeball here. There's no paint on it, but I guess if you really want to have that little rat guy sticking out of there, you can do that, but it's not really reading as that character to me. And on the forearms here, we do have these panels that pop off, so you can add those round pieces that I think he uses as a shield in the show. Forgive me if I am wrong. And these have a little piece in there to orient it properly, ignore the dog hair. And you can do that on both arms. And with a little finagling, you can kind of get him into a defensive position here. But I really wanted him like hunched over, bent forward, and then kind of like holding his arm up. But because of the lack of torso joint, probably because of the engineering there, with the compression at the waist, it's hard to get him kind of like leaning forward and also arching his back upwards as if he's like leaning forward to block something. And as cool as that accessory is, I just like kind of displaying characters with their standard appearance, and so I'll probably keep him like this on my shelf. But I feel like something's missing, so let's bring in all of the rest of the Skeleton Crew figures that we have available at the moment. This is a really cool lineup. I mean, I always feel kind of like spoiled as a Black Series collector, you know, with all the complaints people may have about the line. Just the fact that, like, if you think about how few TV shows get like a premium line of 6-inch action figures, like just to have a brand new show and get this many figures from it is so cool, and something that we kind of take for granted as Star Wars collectors. But here is my lineup of custom figures. We have a lot of these from the Toxic Collector, some sculpts by the Glowing Ghost, but it's cool to flesh out this series on the shelf just a little bit more. And then we have the security droid, where I 3D sculpted and 3D printed the head and then put it on the HK droid from the Ahsoka series and just repainted it all. If you do want to pick up SM-33, there is an affiliate link down below for Amazon. It should be releasing this Friday. If not, let me know in the comments why you won't be picking it up. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new. We are on the road to 25K. As always, thank you for watching. Here are some other videos that you might enjoy on my channel, and I'll see you next time.